Hare Krishna, everyone. We are in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. Let me just make a quick prayer and then we can start. It's coming. You see my screen? Online, are you able to see?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhana Swamini Iti Namne. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Iti Namne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasti Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripa Tamham Vande Shri Gurum Denatarinam. Hare Krishna. So we are studying Bhagavad Gita in this particular classroom, and we are covering introduction right now. Over the next 2-3 sessions, we'll continue on this topic. This will clear a lot of foundation, and then we'll go to the chapter-wise study. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita, as it is, the book we are studying is authored by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and we briefly discussed his. We just briefly discussed about him, right? As a child itself, he was very spiritually inclined. He conducted Rath Yatra, okay? And then he met his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So that is the picture in the middle here. Right? He met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur at the age of around 29. By the time he's already married a Grihastha. And then the first instant itself, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him, "You are a young man, you should preach in English to the Western world." So the first meeting itself, he got the ultimate instruction. He was surprised how he was told like that. And towards the end also, when, towards the end, he has a written communication with his guru. In that also, he says the same thing. So he felt, this is my life mission. And that's what, and he's a Grihastha, so he lived next 20, 30 years as a, taking care of his family, children. At the around age of 69, he left India and he came here and established his camp. So he, even though he could not implement because he's a Grihastha, he finally implemented his guru's instruction. When he was in India also in his 50s, he used to study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and also preach. He built this institute in Jhansi, where he called League of Devotees, where he had devotee gatherings every day to teach Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam there. And then he published a magazine called Back to Godhead, very famous in those days, in 1950s, 60s. And he used to talk, wherever he met people, he used to talk Krishna consciousness. Yeah. In 1965, he went on Jaladuta to America from India. Like, we said, like, he doesn't have money to afford a flight ticket. So he chose this cargo route. Not even a people ship, it's cargo ship. She had like a seat there, that's all. There is no, good, comfortable place for sleeping, etc. So he went in a cargo ship. And so the voyage was about like 30 plus days. And in that, he had 2 heart attacks. So finally he landed in America. For 1 year almost, there was not much, he could do, because he's just trying to see, he himself doesn't have anything. Some hippies, means those who don't have homes, etc. They rented a small room for him. That's how he started. And they all used to come and meet him and attend some Bhagavad Gita class, like 5, 6 of them in the evenings. That's how it all started. And he used to do kirtan in Tompkins Square Park near in New York. That is what attracted a lot. You see the crowd here. So he used to do every evening very powerful kirtans. He's a very pure devotee, right? When he was chanting, it would attract everyone. So that's how the movement started. Slowly, people started gathering. They felt that this person is extraordinary. They started hearing him, and after second year, the things started spreading like wildfire. He's like, and he would establish temples in multiple cities within like two and third year itself. And so many followers would, are developed. And he sent some of the followers to London. There, those people were, there they met Beatles, right? So this Beatles group was inspired by, Hare Krishna movement, and they, especially George Harrison. So he donated Bhaktivedanta Manor, the largest temple in England. Yeah, it's a church at the time, but it is converted into temple. So movement spread like wildfire. In span of 10 years, he managed to have about 108 temples all over the world, including India. Yeah. So traveled across the world 14 times. And it's not just establishing temples, he also, every night, almost whole night, he would author books. All the books we have, Bhagavatam, about 90 plus books he authored. Because every night he would just spend all his full daytime, he would help preach, speak to people, go all the countries and establish temples, help establish temples. In the nights, he would just, so he had like hardly 2 hours of sleep every day. So how much he sacrificed his life at the age of 70 plus. He's not like in 40s, 30s, like we can do, right? And he would get sick often because he's like doing extraordinary mission, right? Uh, yeah, so those 10 years were like golden years, 1965 to, yeah, 65 to 78, 13 years. Yeah, he met many scholars and many professors in the universities, and he would uh, inspire them about Krishna consciousness. So this is the magazine that he Back to Godhead. These are the books by Prabhupada, written by Prabhupada. Yeah. So this is the introduction. So we are covering the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. What is the spirit in which we should understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So this is all part of introduction. So we are going to cover spirit. We are going to talk about 5 topics. The first topic is 5 B's, easy to remember. Bhagavan. Second topic is Bhakta or devotee, like Arjuna, right? Third topic is Bhakti, the process of devotion. Fourth topic is Bhagavad Gita, right? So these are the 4 concepts we'll explore today. Yeah. So Bhagavan, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not because we like to worship Krishna. It's not because he's our favorite God. It is as per the scriptural verdict, and that's how many acharyas have accepted. And we'll see like some of the slokas, how various. Let me actually start with slokas because that will give a lot of conviction. So last week we were discussing about creation, right? Mm. This is the overall picture of the material world and spiritual world. We'll come to it. So this is 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, we'll see some slokas in 15th chapter how they tell about who is Bhagavan, right? So you can repeat after me. These are beautiful slokas. So we'll repeat. We'll study. Dvav imau purushau loke Ksharakshara evacha Kshara sarvani bhutani Kutasto kshara uchyate. Hmm. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. And in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. So we think, we are all that lives is all in this, earth. That's what people think, actually. What Krishna is saying here is, in the middle world, all the living entities, like all of us, are fallible. What is fallible? Huh? Tangible? No. Fallible means those who fall. Simple. Fall means they're in the chakra. Repeatedly, they'll come back to this world. Fall, right? Infallible means those who don't fall. Yeah, they're. So where are they then? Krishna told there are two sorts of people. One is fallible, the other is infallible. The fallible is in the material existence. Where are the infallible then? Spiritual world, yeah. So this verse clearly tells there is a spiritual world where there are infallible jivas who are eternally existing, right? In fact, it's like in a city, right? 90% of people are followers of laws. They are the infallible. We are like the fallible in the jail. So the material world is like a jail. It's the quarter entity. The three-quarter entry is actually the spiritual realm. So in fact, the people in the spiritual world far exceed the count of material, people in the material existence. So we are the minority, people in this material world. Just like in the jail, there are only few violators. So we are in that category. Yeah. So those living entities are called infallible. Yeah. This doesn't talk about Lord himself, but Bhagavan himself. But we'll get there. Right? Uttama purushastvan tvanya paramatmeti udhahrita yo lokatrayam avishya bibharti avyaya ishvara. So besides these two, there is the great living entity, right? The supreme soul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. It is referring to who? Krishna, specifically the Purusha avatars coming from Krishna. Their expansions coming from Krishna. Like I sent the slide, right? In that, if you see, the fourth level is Purusha avatars, right? So he's talking about specifically that, even though it is spoken by Krishna, he's not referring to himself there directly, because it's an expansion of him, right? Besides these two, that there is the greatest living entity. So it's never that we will ever become God. That's clear, right? Krishna clearly said there is fallible, infallible, and there is the third category, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's clear, right? If anybody says, oh, we can become God, we should not believe that. So Bhagavad Gita clearly condemns that. Yeah. Yashmat. Huh? Yeah. I thought you said something. Not possible, sorry. Yashmat ksharam atitoham aksharat apichottama atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottama. Hmm. Now he is referring that personality as himself. You see here in this verse. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person. Now, without a doubt, Krishna is telling, I am the Supreme, clearly. See, he is different than everyone else. Yeah, now what is he saying? Yomam evam asammudho janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting, it's very important, is the knower of everything. Because that's the purpose of Vedas. The purpose of Vedas is to know Krishna or God, who is God, right? He therefore engages himself in the full devotional service to me. The word says, Bhajati Ma. Ma means me. Bhajati means worship. You see, there is no confusion. He's not referring to some impersonal God. Bhajati Ma. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Yeah. So these verses clearly establish who is Krishna. He's not the people of the middle world. He's not the people of the spiritual world. He is the Supreme Lord himself. And who knows him, worship him as the Supreme Lord, and they will be engaged in pure devotion service. Right? So this set of 4 verses from 15th chapter, they clearly establish who is Krishna. Right? Now there are few more verses because there's some people think, oh, Indra is there, Varuna is there. What about them? Let's find out. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stuvanti Divyai Vedai Sangha Padakramo Pasinadair Gayanti Yam Samaga Jhanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashantam Na Vidu Surasuro Gana Devaya Tasmai Nama. So the Goswami said, unto that personality whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, and the Maruts praise by chanting transcendental hymns and reciting the Vedas with all their corollaries, Padakramas, and Upanishads, to whom the chanters of Samaveda always sing, whom the perfected yogis see within their minds after fixing themselves in trance and absorbing themselves within him, and whose limit can never be found by any demigod or demon, unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead I offer my humble obeisances. He clearly shows that these personalities, Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra means Lord Shiva, and Maruts, praise, they're all worshipping the same personality whom I am worshipping. So Sutta Goswami is saying this. Few more verses. This is, we already discussed. Ete chamsa kalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridyanti Yuge Yuge. So this verse. So this is a verse where Sutta Goswami is talking about many incarnations. Rama, Narsingha, Parshuram. He talks about all of them, about 20 of them, not just 10. 20 of them he talks, and then he speaks this verse. And what does that verse say? All of the above mentioned incarnations, like Rama, Narsingha, Vamana, are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions, means expansions or expansions of the expansions of the Lord. But Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Who is saying this? Directly Vyasdev himself in Bhagavatam, right? All of them appear on planets whenever there is disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. All incarnations, if you see, they carry a weapon, like Lord Rama, Parshurama, right? They come to annihilate atheists, re-establish dharma, right? But Lord Krishna himself comes to protect the theists. Actually, that's an external purpose. To kill the demons is the external purpose. But the real purpose is to perform wonderful, sweet pastimes with his devotees, like Yashoda, Nanda Baba, or Gopis, or Gopas, right? So that's why if you see when Lord Krishna comes, there are so many transcendental sweet pastimes that happen in Gokula, right? He kills demons, it's like great heroic fights, but more interestingly, his sweet pastimes with devotees, right? His love for Sudama, right? So those are all his sweetness. Yeah, so this verse talks. So all of these verses I'm just telling so that we clearly understand Lord Krishna is Supreme Lord. He's not like, yeah. So this is a word spoken by Bhishma Dev on the deathbed, right? So at this time in Mahabharata, the war is over and kingdom is now given to Pandavas, and our Dharmaraj was very upset, sad, because of me alone all this happened. Because he's such a gentle soul, devotee heart. So he felt that, oh, is it all because I wanted this kingdom, this all happened? Lord Krishna clarifies, no, you established dharma. Through you, I accomplished killing of everyone. But he's not satisfied even with the words of Lord Krishna. Then he takes him to Bhishma. You see, Lord Krishna is never like, oh, I'm the king, I'm the god. He is always considerate. And he takes him to Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev is a Mahajan. We'll discuss who is a Mahajan. So he talks, you think, Lord Krishna is your family member, just like one of you. No, he is the Adi Narayana. He says this in this verse. Eshavai Bhagavan Sakshad Adhyo Narayana Puman Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Gudascharati Vrishnishu. This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer, but he is moving amongst the descendants of King Vrishni, just like one of us, and he is bewildering us with his self-created energy. He is sometimes asking for advice. He's like, he's the supreme, original Adinarayana, but he's talking like anybody else. Don't think he's one of us. He is the supreme Lord himself. Yeah, so that's what this verse says. Yeah, we'll come to this later. Yeah, okay. So those are the verses about Bhagavad, right? So, and extraordinary pastimes when Lord Krishna was there. So he taught Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In the 10th chapter, 11th chapter, there is this great description of he shows Vishwaroop to Arjuna, right? It's a very special darshan in which he sees everybody in the war field are going actually into the mouths of various heads of Krishna. He shows like hundreds and thousands of heads. So, and after showing that form, he says, I already arranged for killing. You just be the instrument. You just be the instrument and take the credit. Everything is happening according to my will. If you participate in the will, you get the credit. So that, and he showed as a child the whole universe in his mouth. When Mother Yashoda chastises him for eating dirt, he opens his mouth, and in that mouth, his Mother Yashoda sees the whole universe, and in that universe, he again shows his Vrindavan and himself sitting and showing, opening his mouth. The mother gets bewildered, false unconscious, right? He didn't become God by meditation, right? He's so so this is the Purusha avatar where from his navel comes lotus on which Brahma is residing. Yeah. So between yuga cycles, there is complete annihilation. So at one point during the annihilation, there is this Markandeya Rishi. He happens to be in the drowning waters. He sees this form called Vatapatra Sai. Have you heard about it? Vatapatra Sai. So this is the form of Lord in a small leaf, like a baby Krishna, in which Lord is sucking his foot's thumb. You see that picture there, right? Yeah. Very cute form. So in this apocalypse, so Markandeya Rishi is floating in these waters, and he sees this form, and he immediately worships. And Vatapatra Sai would immediately consume him. Consume means he just goes into his body and again puts him back, and then he offers great prayers, and in that form is actually Lord Krishna's form, that baby form. So when Markandeya Rishi meets Pandavas, he tells about that Lord Krishna that you are with. I have seen him, when I'm in the this great, time when everything was drowning. He's there at the time also. He protected me. Like that, he relates his own story to Pandavas. This very Krishna was the one who saved me, and he actually gifts him Chiranjeevi. Chiranjiva means one who, has Ichamrityu. He wouldn't die unless he desired to. So even Bhishma is also like that. Bhishma chose his time to die, but otherwise he had no death. Now this we already read that verse, right? He's the original Vishnu. So this is Bhishma telling about teaching the Pandavas how to rule the country, right? And this is the time he speaks the famous Vishnu Sahasrana. Have you heard about Vishnu Sahasrana? The 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. Yeah. So 1,000 names of Vishnu is very famous, especially if you want to have peaceful, happy life every day, mind happy, people recommend chant this Vishnu Sahasrana. But 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu is equivalent to chanting one name of Lord Rama. Lord Shiva says at the end of this recitation, Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanana. 1,000 names of this Vishnu is equivalent to chanting one name of Lord Rama. Hmm? Hmm? That is actually, Ideally, it should not be taken like that. So because in Kali Yuga, people don't have, the patience and energy and time to chant the full Sahasranama. At the end, he gave a blessing to people. Instead of, if you cannot chant the 1,000 names, at least chant this Ram Nam. It also comes. Yeah, but still, just chant Ram name, then that is equivalent to. But actually, you should spend time to chant the whole Sahasranam, right? Yeah. You should not take that shortcut. It's just a special blessing that Lord Shiva gives. Yeah. But people afflicted with negative planetary cycles, if you chant this, it has highest powerful effect, because this is chanted directly in the face of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna approved these prayers in person. So that's why this is considered a very special prayer, especially if somebody has planetary affliction. Yeah. Hmm? Yeah, it's spoken by Bhishma Dev. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So Lord Krishna is known as Purna Purushottam, and Lord Rama is known as Maryada Purushottam. How he thought how to lead a life, in this world, how to be truthful, how to be gentle, how to care for your children, how to care for your family, how to rule the country. And Vishnu is known as Purushottam, Vishnu or Narayana in the spiritual world. Hmm. So he is the Adi Bhagavan, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara Parama means Supreme Ishvara. In this world, everybody is an Ishvara. You're also an Ishvara. You can control, your limited family or whatever, right? And a prime minister can control his country. And Brahma can control the universe, right? Entire universe is under his control. And of course, Ishvara means even Lord Shiva is considered, who is the controller of material existence. But Parameshwara, the supreme Ishvara, is Krishna, right? So this is spoken by Lord Brahma himself in Brahma Samhita, the prayers of Lord Brahma. Anadir, Adir, you are the beginningless and the beginning, both. Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. You are the cause of all causes. You are the anything exists is because of you.
Shall see.
That's Lord Krishna showing his universal form. Yeah. So Lord is the supreme Lord, but he is ready to become driver for his own devotee. That is the nature of Lord. He wants to become a servant of his own devotee. Can you imagine the supreme Lord, who is the controller of everything, instead of showing off his majesty, he is ready to become servant of his own devotee. That's the nature of Lord. Right? That's why he is known as Bhakta Vatsala, the lover of devotee. And there is always a competition between devotee and Lord. Lord wants to take all opportunity to serve devotees. And we discussed this in a previous discussion in game classes. He seizes opportunity to serve the devotee. But devotee doesn't want to take service from Lord. He want to serve Lord. There's always a tough competition between devotees and Lord. Right? So sometimes in this battlefield, you know what used to happen? Lord Krishna was driving. Arjuna was fighting. He's a mega warrior, right? He would fight with thousands of people at the same time. Sometimes he would not have time to speak to Krishna. You know what he would do? He would kick with his leg, left, right, move left, move right. Imagine, Lord would feel ecstasy. We cannot imagine. We cannot do such things in our imagination also. But that's Partha Sarthi. That's Partha. Yeah. And being a chariot driver is not a big position, by the way. Especially, in those days, for example, Karna wanted a chariot driver. The chariot driver is another king. The king says, how can I be driver for this Karna? So in those days, it's not a respected position. But imagine, like Krishna he wouldn't care, his own position or anything. So you can understand how renounced he is. So this is Bhagavan. Who Bhaga means opulences. Van means is the possessor of opulences. Right? He is the possessor of all 6 opulences. We'll show what those are. Right? In this world, somebody is famous for beauty, somebody is famous for wealth, knowledge, strength, fame, right? Renunciation, the sannyasis. So Krishna has all of this. He is the source of everything. So, yeah. So he is most beautiful. Krishna's form is described. His eyes are like lotus petals. His lips are like bimba fruit. You can only imagine. You can't. His body hue is like a monsoon cloud. Very beautiful form. And when he would sing on his flute, everybody would be stunned, including all the animals. And the cows would come running to his feet. They would always lick his feet. All the animals, monkeys, everything would come. It's a candy to eye. It was such great time. All these the Brajavasis had, enjoying the sweet childhood pastimes of Krishna. So that is Krishna's beauty and his strength. With his pinky, he lifted mountain. Who can imagine, right? If somebody says, I am Bhagavan, you should ask, go lift the Govardhan. Yeah. He is famous for his sweet pastimes, right? When he was stealing also is famous, right? He steals the dresses of gopis, even then it is famous. He runs away from war. He's called Ranachor, and that form is worshipped. Generally, if somebody runs away from a war, he's considered a coward. But when Krishna runs away, he becomes famous. And the knowledge he gave in just a span of 1.5 to 2 hours, we take a lifetime to understand, apply it in our life. Imagine, right? So unless he is Bhagavan, how can anybody speak such knowledge? Right? In Vaikuntha, he is the source of all wealth. He is husband of goddess of Lakshmi, right? Whose favor everybody in this world seeks, right? And he is the husband. What else, right? You can see, he became ready to become driver for his own devotee. That shows his renunciation, right? And while he was in this world, he was never a ruler for anything. In Dwaraka, Madura, wherever he is, he would establish a king separately. He would just be there, that's all. He was the reason for everything, but he would never occupy any, kingmanship anywhere. That shows his renunciation. So in this world, people are famous for being Lakpati, Arapati, Karapati. But Krishna is Lakshmipati.
Emanates all the three worlds, both spiritual and mundane. Everything rests in me, Arjun, just as you see pearls hang upon a thread.
We don't know. We don't see the thread underlying the pearls. But Krishna is like that thread underlying the pearls. Everything in this world exists balanced. The sun is coming on its time, moon is coming on its time, there is seasonal changes. Everything is happening without our arrangements. We didn't try anything. There is no department to manage the time cycle of sun or moon or anything. Everything is happening because there is Supreme Lord behind all of this. And he says, with a fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. This universe that you see is just a fragment. That's why we say the Purusha avatars are an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. Because this verse says that, right? With a fragment, I support everything. And Lord Krishna's supremacy is accepted by all acharyas. It's not like, okay, in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which we follow, we are accepting Krishna. No. All acharyas of all sampradayas. This is Vyasadeva. Who is Vyasadeva? He is the source of all knowledge that we ever know, known as Vedas. He is the one who got it in writing form. All the Vedas that exist, right? So this verse we already, right? He says, Ete chamsa kalapum shav Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. We already read, yeah. Yeah, there is in Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, the story is given. So Vyasadeva, he compiled Vedas, Vedangas, Puranas, Itihasas, hundreds and hundreds of literature he compiled. And after compiling all of this, he summarized the whole thing in a book called Vedanta Sutra. The final conclusions of Vedic wisdom is in Vedanta Sutra. After authoring that, he felt he's still not happy in his heart. He's somehow disturbed in mind as to something is missing still. He was contemplating on that. At that time, his guru Narada Muni comes to help him. Vyasadev's guru is Narada Muni. He comes there and he tells him, I know the reason for your vyakula, your pain. The reason is you haven't vividly and proclamatorily declared the glories of the Supreme Lord in any book. You have given these Vedas. They are filled with many worships which are substandard, which are going to, give material prosperity and all. But you haven't in one book described the pure devotion to the Supreme Lord. If you do that, you will be satisfied in your heart. That is the instruction of Narada to Vyasa. So after, in his ripened age, after compiling everything, he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is why Bhagavatam is called Mahapurana. And also Amala Purana. All the other Puranas are Mala Puranas. Mala means there is some slight material contamination is there. It's not that it is pure, but still there is an offer of material well-being. You do this, you get this. You do this, you get this wealth. You do this, you get your health. You do this, you get this. So that is called mala, because it's not pure. You have a business intent with Lord. I do this and I get this. So that business intent is there. So that is there in all the scriptures, including Vishnu Puran, Matsya Puran, everything. But in Bhagavatam, that scope is taken off. It is pure description of Bhagavan and Bhaktas. Many great devotees, Dhruva. There is Dhruva Charitra is here, right? There is Prahlad Charitra here, right? There is Lord Ram's pastimes. All great devotees are, described in Bhagavatam. Why? By learning from their stories, we learn how to lead our life and perfect our life. So that's the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that, this sloka is called the most important sloka. Ete chamsa kala pumshav Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Because this verse establishes the core principle in which the lens in which every other verse should be understood. If some other verse may appear to mean differently, then you have to check back with this lens, right? So these verses are special verses. Bhagavad Gita also has such verses, right? So this verse is that prominent verse. Yeah. So after seeing the universal form of the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, right? Arjuna speaks this verse. Ahustvam rishaya sarve devarshir naradastata asito devalo vyaso swayam chaiva bravishime. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa confirm that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not just me. All these great sages are also confirming the same. And the great acharyas like, this is Madhvacharya in 11th century. He is born, he is an incarnation of, I already told about this. He is the incarnation of Vayu. Yeah. Hanuman is Vayu Putra. He is actually direct Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana means Vayu himself. Yeah. He is extreme. There are very sweet pastimes of Madhvacharya in Madhva Vizya. And he is a great Acharya and he worshipped the form of Udupi Krishna. Right? He is, previously Hanuman and Bhima were of the similar potency as Vayu incarnation, right? Yeah. He is considered a great Acharya and he worshipped Krishna. Another great Acharya, very famous in the South Indian temples. All South Indian temples follow what Ramanujacharya established as the method of worship. So if you go to Tamil Nadu or Andhra, Karnataka, Acharyas, the Acharyas, mainly the four Acharyas are Adi Shankara, and then after him is Ramanuja and Madhva and then Nimbarka, four great Acharyas. These are coming in direct disciplic succession starting from Lord Krishna. And these are very great Acharyas who re-established the lost religion during their time. For example, Ramanujacharya had to go to all South Indian temples and re-establish the methods of worship. Because at that time, people lost the connection with Agamas. Agamas means the methods of worship, right? So he re-established, and now we still follow what Ramanuja gave, right? So if you go to any Balaji temple or any South Indian temples, the Archana Paddhati is based on the Agamas that re-established by Acharyas. Yeah. So this is Adi Shankara. He worshipped Badri Vishal in Himalayas, in Badrikashram. So Badri Vishal is a form of Lord Krishna. So he is also a worshipper of Lord Krishna. And of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord himself, he worshipped Lord Jagannath, whom we consider as Lord Krishna. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra. So this is him dancing before the Lord. And this is how he would weep in front of Lord Krishna. When Lord Chaitanya would weep, the tears out of love, this is out, ecstasy. Whenever he sees the form of Lord, there was a great emotion in his heart, spiritual emotion. And tears would flow like syringes from his eyes. You can't even imagine that kind. And just by seeing him, people will become devotees, Lord Chaitanya. And his form is, you see the form, he is Suvarna Varna Hemango. His form is like a molten gold. And his eyes are like lotus petals. His nose is the most beautiful one. And, people would just see his form and get stunned. 6 feet, 6.5 feet height. And he would dance in ecstasy before the Lord Jagannath. And it is an eyesight for anybody. And during his time, everybody turned into Krishna Bhaktas. And wherever he went, he transformed that place. He did South Indian tour. So he is Lord himself. Established the Yuga Dharma Sankirtana. Harinam Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma. He came to re-establish that. So he is also worshipper of Lord Jagannath, Krishna. Right? All acharyas have confirmed Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purna Purushottam. So in Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada writes like this: Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And with that submissive spirit, we can understand Bhagavad Gita. Right? Because there are 800 other editions of Bhagavad Gita at the time of writing of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Somebody, Prabhu asked about as it is. But in that, they did not focus on Krishna, who is the main speaker of this. They focused on the philosophy and teachings and everything else, but not himself, the original. When you take Krishna out of the picture, you won't really get the real message. But when Prabhupada came, he was able to send this message right into the hearts of Americans, Europeans, Indians, everyone. And they transformed people. People changed their habits. They gave up their bad habits. They started chanting Hare Krishna, became devotees of Krishna, even though they are not from India. Yeah. So we should understand like Arjuna, right? Gita is understood by devotee like Arjuna, who is in direct relationship with Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says why he is teaching this knowledge to Arjuna. Yeah. So let's see. This is a beautiful verse I'm trying to. Yeah. Let's read this. Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. So the word rahasyam is very important here, right? That very ancient science of relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. See the verse? You can understand Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is an open book. Anybody can buy from shop and read it. But the real key is being a devotee as well as a friend. Friend means you are a well-wisher. You never envy, right? A lot of people envy God also. Oh, why God is saying all this? Why he is only God? Why not me? Like that. So, because Arjuna has no envy and is a friend of Krishna, that's why Krishna is saying, now you can understand, you are qualified. Whatever I'm saying, it will make sense to you because you are my devotee and friend. It's not for everybody. It's available for everyone, but it doesn't change their heart because they are not devotees, right? So one should be a devotee and friend to Krishna. Yeah. Now that is bhakta, right? So one can be a devotee and friend, then they can understand. And then the process to understand is the performance of bhakti yoga, or translated in English as devotional service. One should engage in active devotion service, right? For a bhakta to become to establish his connection with Bhagavan, one should practice devotional service, right? So it's very important. Without that, if we just just hear theory and not chant, or not practice anything, it does not become a realized wisdom. It only becomes theoretical knowledge, which is not good enough for transforming the heart. So by devotion service, one can revive one's relationship with God. Our relationship with God is fixed. In the spiritual world, we are saying we are from spiritual world, we are not from here. So it means that we are in spiritual world at some point in time, and we have a fixed relation with God. That's called Swarupa. The process of achieving is called Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa Siddhi is the process of achieving our eternal form in spiritual world. We may be a cow in the spiritual world, or maybe a cat, or it could be anything. Could be a gopi, gopa, or could be a tree, anything. And that is our permanent position, right? To get there, we need to practice devotion service here in the middle world. So thereby we can revive our loving relationship with Krishna, right? So here you see the Lord of the universe is ready to wash the feet of his devotee. He's talking, this is Sudama, right? And Lord himself shows by his example how to, this is how we should worship Lord, right? He is showing by example how much he loves his devotees. You see, he's ready to wash the feet of his devotee with milk. He's doing abhishek to his feet. See, Lord would not mind. Can you imagine the Supreme Lord doing that? He has no ego. I am this, I am supreme. No. And who is Sudama? He's not like another kingdom's king or anything. He's like a poor, almost like he's a beggar. His clothes are torn. The highest thing he could have is like a chipud rice. That is also begged. It's not like, he got it. So for such a person, imagine how he doesn't differentiate, who is rich, who is poor. He just sees the devotion in the heart of the people. So these are the 12 personalities, very famous personalities, who know the codes of religion, who knows the methods of worship. Who are they? Brahma, Shambhu or Lord Shiva, Shuka, Kumara, Kumaras, the four Kumaras, Kapila Dev, in third canto of Bhagavatam, he's also Supreme Lord's incarnation. Swayambhu, Swayambhu is the first Manu. Prahalada, Narada, Prahalada is a great devotee, right? Narada Muni, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali, and Yama. These are 12 personalities. Whenever they instruct something, that is a code of religion. They know exactly who is Krishna. So you see, that's why Bhishma, whenever these people speak, we have to hear very attentively because they are speaking the highest truth. So in the other verse, if you see, Bhishma spoke about Krishna's position as the Adi Narayana, right? Similarly, all these great souls have spoken. Huh? Yes, they're all devotees. Yes. So there is a verse about this. So this is spoken by Yamaraj to his servants. Yamaraj's servants by mistake bring some person from the middle world. And at that time, that person is actually chanting Narayana's name. And not by purpose, just out of calling his son. His son's name is Narayana. His name is Ajamila. He chants the name of Narayana out of fear of death. He's almost on the deathbed. He chants Narayana. He calls out his loving son. But all his life he wasted badly. And so because he chanted Narayana at the time of death, all his past bad things are vanquished. And Yamadutas are almost about to take this person to Yamalok. They're bewildered. They're about to catch him, and Vishnudutas comes and takes over the soul, stops the Yamadutas. Then Yamadutas are confused. Who are these Vishnudutas? They ask Yama, their master, "Sir, we are about to take that soul, and there are some effulgent people who are asking, saying that we cannot take because he's chanting something." Then Yamaraj tells about the power of holy name that is described in 6th canto. We will not go there. But these are the great personalities who all accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Right? Lord is the swift deliverer of devotees in so many pastimes. This is Gajendra Moksha from Srimad Bhagavatam. As soon as Gajendra remembers Lord, he would fight with the crocodile for a long, long time. And then suddenly he remembers from his past life. He was a great king in his past life. And he did a lot of sadhana at that time. So that remembrance comes in the form when he is an elephant. So he remembers Lord Vishnu. Immediately he offers a lotus from the waters where he is, attacked by crocodile. He offers that to the Lord. Immediately Lord comes and delivers him. And finally, Bhagavad Gita. Right? Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate scripture, right? So many consider this is the summary of all the Vedic wisdom, right? Because it is spoken by Lord Krishna directly. There is nothing that is directly spoken by Lord himself, right? So that's why this wisdom is considered. And how is it important? We can see practically also we can see all the great scientists like Einstein and Oppenheimer who discovered atom bomb. Great philosophers like Henry David Thoreau, great scientists like Abdul Kalam, right? Great politicians like Mahatma Gandhi, Sarvepalli Radhakrishna, right? And great acharyas like Adi Shankara and Ramanuja, they all accepted Bhagavad Gita as the highest scripture, right? And they have referred and appreciated Gita for its sublime wisdom and relevance to all people of all times. Gita is the authentic spiritual literature which can free one from all suffering of life. Yeah. The spirit of devotion in which Bhagavad Gita should be read. So one time when Lord Chaitanya was touring the South India, so in one of the temples he meets a Brahmana. This Brahmana was studying Bhagavad Gita. He was reading Bhagavad Gita in the temple, but he's an illiterate. He doesn't know how to read. So by mistake, the book was upside down. But because he's illiterate, he doesn't know. So he's just reading like that. And everybody who comes to temple would look at, this guy is reading upside down. They would just laugh and go away, right? And then Lord Chaitanya comes and he sees this devotee, and this devotee is crying when he's reading, whatever he is reading. And the Lord Chaitanya asks him, "Hey, you said you don't know how to read. How that you are crying?" The devotee says, whenever I open this book, I remember how Lord Krishna is ready to become the chariot driver for his own devotee Arjuna. When that form comes to my mind, my heart emotionally breaks. How Lord is so loving to his devotee, and he is such a Bhaktavatsala. Whenever I remember that form of Lord, my emotions break and I just cry. I cannot just stop. Then Lord Chaitanya says, you have the right understanding of Bhagavad Gita. It doesn't matter whether you understand Sanskrit, whether you can read, it doesn't matter. All that is secondary. You have the right spirit of devotion in your heart. So you really understood the purport of Gita. Yeah. So that's this. Upon seeing the devotion of South Indian Brahman, Lord Chaitanya embraced him and told him that he had perfected the recitation of Gita. So Lord Chaitanya's approval of the Brahmana's perfection is far superior to millions of university doctorates. This accolade from the Lord proves that Bhagavad Gita cannot be studied with material intelligence. The knowledge of Gita must be received through the chain of acharyas or spiritual masters coming down in the disciplic succession. That is the only method. Yeah. So there are this category of people called Mayavadis who consider the form of Lord as material and Maya. They consider that Krishna is also like one of us. He also came to this world. He got shooted down. He also passed away. So he's like one of us. So that kind of understanding is very dangerous, right? Krishna himself clearly talked in 15th chapter, right? This is Kshara, that is Akshara, right? Fallible, infallible, I am different from all of them. Very clearly he spoke. And all the Acharya speaking, all the Mahajana spoke, right? So in spite of all of that, there is a category called Mayavadis who criticize Krishna's, who say Krishna is also one of us. He's a great Acharya or a great person, but he's also mortal. But that is completely an envious statement. Out of envy, they deny the Satchidananda spiritual form of the Lord. Their goal is not to serve the Lord, but to merge within the impersonal Brahmajyoti and become God. Thus, their small brains cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can become the charioteer of his own devotee and carry out his orders. Yeah. So many people misinterpret Gita and say, hey, this Kurukshetra is like body, 5 Pandavas are like 5 senses. You heard of all these silly interpretations? They're all made because people don't have faith in the actual presence of Krishna. But actually, unfortunately, they're all like these honeybees which are trying to lick the honey in the bottle. For them, the wisdom of Gita is locked by the cap. They're like honeybees just murmuring around. So they don't get the essence of Gita if they misunderstand or don't take Gita in as it is form, right? So no matter how much one is well versed in computer software, one cannot do anything without knowing the password of the computer. So similarly, the password to understand Bhagavad Gita is the spirit of devotion and submissiveness to Lord and his devotees, right? And so for those people who say, hey, Kurukshetra is like body, that's proven wrong because Bhagavad Gita is a historical place. So there is this place, Kurukshetra, where there is a temple for Parthasarathi, right? Where the war happened, and there are all these antiques from the original war were there still. There are many antiques. So it's misunderstanding to just say that this is mythology and it's not historical. Yeah. And the exhibits of such excavations can be seen even today in museums of Kurukshetra and Dwaraka. Even in Dwaraka, where the original palace of Lord Krishna were submerged, people are able to find those remains from the submerged Dwarka. Yeah. So that's why one should not try to seek out meanings, allegorical meanings, etc. That may be there. We can try to understand in that way, but not at the cost of understanding the core meaning, right? I think they're device. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So such misinterpretations have no potency to invoke the dormant devotion in the heart of living beings towards Sri Krishna. However, when Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya, presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, within a short 3-4 years, people have transformed and became Krishna conscious all over the world. Right? Now, over 1 million people worldwide are chanting Krishna's name every single day. Millions of people, not just a million. Yeah. This is the potency of presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, without changing the purpose for which Lord Krishna presented Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so Ramayana and Mahabharata are itihasas. Itihasa means history. It's not mythology, as people in the current times say. Yeah, and these were very accurately recorded as well. So the incidents of Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, they're all there in Jyotisar, Kurukshetra. There is this temple of Parthasarathi. Yeah. So the problem is many times people hold these Gita meetings, right, where they don't talk about Krishna. They just talk about the philosophy given by Krishna, right? So that should be avoided, right? Because Krishna is the centerpiece of Bhagavad Gita. Without reference to Krishna, you cannot really understand Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood without reference to Lord Krishna. Yeah. So that's the end. Any questions? Comments? Last week there are so many questions. What happened? All questions are clear this week. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. We'll start like that without understanding, without being a friend or a devotee. But when we start, as you make progress, as you start chanting, you become like that. Then your understanding deepens, right? So at the beginning, one is just open-minded and doesn't take any wrong meanings, like the wrong interpretations, etc. But as one practices devotion service and try to understand Gita, then they'll become friend and a well-wisher, right? Anything else? Maybe quickly let's go over, each of you can speak one line or something that you really understood or liked, or take away for you from this class. Huh? Or maybe we can start with Ravi Prabhu. We'll start from here. You want to just get your point out first? Okay, go ahead. Hmm. Hmm. If you take in the right spirit, we'll understand and be able to apply. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita in life. Yes. Want to start?
First slide you mentioned about like four things before
Bhagavan,
going
Bhakti.
to the Bhagavad Gita,
Mhm.
like those like, so one is like first you should know about the Bhagavan, who is Bhagavan, like you have to know about the
Bhakta and
what is
Bhakti.
the spirit of studying the Bhagavad Gita.
Hmm.
The,
Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti and Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. So we discussed all the 4 topics today. How we should, who is Bhagavan? We clearly established through so many verses. And what is the right spirit in which one should, study Gita as a devotee? That is the second topic.
anything like whatever you're like, even though you're studying before like studying, you should know about like what we are going to study, right? If you do not know like what you're going to study, like there will be no interest to study, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So that's why we are covering this before actual verses, so that we have right mindset before we start. Thank you. Arjun Prabhu.
Service cooperation. It is. And the main thing, he followed the instruction of his master. I feel like that is the most important. To get any instruction from the you have to like follow the instruction that will next is the master. If you make that the
Mission of life.
The life.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. So if you make the mission of your guru's order your life's mission, that will make you perfect in your life. Yeah. Thank you.
I think this was a good recap of what we learned in the cave class, or helps you re-establish that connection, like that should be how you should think about. I think it was good delivering the intake. Like, what is the mindset which you should have before you start reading? That's probably more important. Try to apply it daily, like keeping the concept, the plan of the conclusion.
Hmm.
Good mindset there. So making that.
Yeah, the right mindset to understand Gita. Yes, thank you.
I think how is the supreme person
Hmm.
noted, and how Lord Krishna comes to you to help in your
you know, situations that you are going through, and you remember his name. And in fact, the example you mentioned about the Sudama, you know, the friendship with
Gajendra.
there is a movie that, I mean, the place is like poor and like law, like it's, yeah, I mean, that was one of the way. Then also how Lord Krishna is the, was the like a tribal
For his own devotee. Yeah?
These were like the greatest examples I saw, and also of the other references. Of the, I think I never one about it, so yeah, I think that's something I learned today. And other than to have bhakti yoga, you know, to start understanding the supreme personality of the supreme Lord is very, very important, along with your devotion from your own heart to the soul. Very, very important to understand.
Very good.
Yeah.
Prabhu gave full summary. I thought he'll stop with first point. No, second, and then third. Bhagavan, Bhakta, Bhakti, and then Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Thank you for the summary. Mataji, Kalyani Mataji. Sorry. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Not just theoretical study, but we also should practice. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So last time we had like many questions. Who is Krishna? So when we started with those chapter 15, and when you distinguish between valuable and invaluable, first thing was very clear, like the way you told last time. There's the shell, imagine, and then there is another which is like spiritual. So that was very clear for me, at least in all those chapter 15 when you mentioned supreme two classes like valuable and invaluable. Then next, Lord Krishna itself says that I am the supreme soul. So that helps a lot in distinction, and all those questions somewhere were solved. Like we could distinguish like who is Krishna, why did we say like he is the supreme soul. So I think reading those Vedas, it was my first time. So understanding it through the Vedas.
Through various verses, right? How great acharyas and everybody is establishing the same fact. Yeah. So this is the last week's, someone asked about, existence. So you see here, these are all, various material worlds. So this is Karana ocean, in which this is Karanarnava Vishnu, or the original Mahavishnu. From his bodily pores, various universes, material universes are floating out. So ours is one such universe, the where we are in, that is this. In this, there are so many 14 planetary systems. And Lord, the original Mahavishnu, expands into the form called Garbhodak Sai Vishnu in each of the universe. You see here, he is also one Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. Here is also one Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. So here is also one Garbhodak. Here is also one. So it's called Garbha Udaka Sai Vishnu. So from his lotus navel comes a lotus flower on which a Lord Brahma is situated. Is called Swayambhu. He doesn't have mother. He is directly born of father only. Lord Brahma. And he meditates and creates this material universe. 14 planets. You see Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala, and then Bhur, Bhuvar, and then above that is Swarga, and then many other planets like this here. I'll send you a good, better picture than this. So above this, so you see Durga. So all of these planets are in the control of Durga, Mother Durga, Durga. Right? He creates, but then managed by Shambhu and Durga, material energy. Shambhu is here. And above this, Yeah. Above this universe is middle universes, and then above this is Brahma Jyotir. Some people who meditate on impersonal Brahman will merge into this Brahma Jyoti. But those who chant Hare Krishna, see, Hare Krishna is directly going to spiritual world. So you will just this is the rope in which you will be transported to spiritual world. So in this there are innumerable Vaikunthas. So these are all Vaikunthas. So don't give up your chanting. This is your rope to spiritual world. Yeah, otherwise you will land up in another universe here, or you don't want. Yeah. So in this also, within the universe also, many people just rotate around these planets only. Within our universe only, they'll rotate. It's like renting in the same street, some other, this street, that street, based on your rental capacity. Two bedroom, one bedroom, five bedroom, like that. So we want to chant and go back to Vaikunthas. And out of all of that is Goloka. So there are many such Vaikuntha planets, but the highest of is Goloka, where Lord Krishna is directly present in Swayam Rupa. It's called Swayam Rupa. Yeah, so that is spiritual planet. Thanks for reminding me about this. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next, Shruti.
On this material world, especially for his devotees, because his other expansions can take care of vanquishing the demons. So he shows by example how his relationship is with the devotees, is Bhaktavatsala, and how intimate that relationship is. And what we can think of having in the spiritual world with Krishna, how intimate that is.
Yeah, thank you. So Lord really comes for satisfying his devotees. That is the real purpose. That is the internal reason. External reason is, to establish dharma and all. But internal reason is to have loving exchanges with his devotees. Thank you. Oh yeah.
Let's talk about allegory. So there are many commentaries of Bhagavad Gita which actually say that Kurukshetra is the body and soul is actually the senses. So they try to establish
Eke out.
allegory behind what is there. And even for many stories of Ramayana or Mahabharata, which were actual incidents, people say that they were allegory. And they try to unnecessarily inject symbolism in that. Ram represents this, Ravana represents this, and I feel it's sort of atheism because you are not actually believing the scriptures as it is. So I remember the Srimad Bhagavatam is a story of Lord Anjana, which is actually an allegory. And the end of that, Narad Muni says that this is an
allegory. Yes.
So when there is an allegory, there will be somebody
explicit description about it.
Saying that people shouldn't actually try to enforce symbolism into
yeah, that's very important. Yeah. So whenever we hear such word, immediately the faith drains. Immediately. At least in the beginning, I used to feel, why somebody is saying like this? Immediately it takes away the devotion towards Krishna. Krishna represents this. As soon as you say that, you lose the faith. So we should not hear such commentaries. Yes, you want to say? Bhagavad Gita. Fallible and infallible. Wisdom. Yeah. Yeah. Amalapuram. Yes. Yes.
current society at place.
Hmm.
The main essence of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. I think very good points you brought about. Yeah, so how Lord Krishna is clearly established as the Supreme Lord through various acharyas and through various slokas and scriptures. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Purna Purushottam, yeah, and Purushottam.
The vastness of text. The vastness of spiritual text, Shastras, Puranas, and so the story that we told, how it was a program.
Hmm.
That was
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Hmm. Anything is fine. Go ahead. Question. How to become a devotee? That's what you should. For Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're saying? Okay. Material world means challenge will be always there. That's how it is designed. So we have to keep our faith and continue. It's never easy. For Pandavas, is their life easy? Yeah. Even during Lord Chaitanya's time, there is Mughal rule. And they would not let you go chant on the streets. They would break mridangas. Not like today, we can just go chant in Seattle streets. They would not let such things happen. So there was civil disobedience movement that time also. Yeah, so it's not easy. Anytime it's like that, We have to overcome and do this, Keep that faith. And Prahlad Maharaj, is it easy for him? We saw the movie, right? Mahavatar. Yeah, he is constantly subjugated to pain and suffering. Jesus Christ time, it wasn't easy for him to. Yeah, we have to take it. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
We asked him after writing everything, he was not satisfied with it. He's like contemplating on the fact that why am I not satisfied even after compiling it? Then I need comes in like ask him to write the
Glories of Supreme Lord, directly.
He was defied and that's why he would sitting power from this for that was literally and the words it is all the incarnation portions, every portion on
Or portions of the portions. Supreme.
all the incarnations
Verses you connected. Yeah. I hope you are all very clear now about Bhagavan, why is Krishna the Supreme Lord. Bhagavad Gita is the knowledge spoken by Krishna to Arjuna. These are the words of Krishna, teachings of Krishna. Bhagavatam is the narration of the various pastimes of the devotees of Krishna and Krishna. They are about Krishna. Bhagavatam is about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is the teachings of Krishna. Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. Bhagavad Gita is 700 verses. It's a vast difference. Bhagavad Gita was authored means it was directly spoken by Lord Krishna, Sanjaya overheard and related to Dhritarashtra, and that was knowledge was recorded by Vyasadeva. Vedvyas is a contemporary at the time. So Vedvyas gives is this special Doordarshan to Sanjaya. These words are actually repetition as spoken by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra, actually. He was seeing that, and so, Lord Krishna took Arjuna in the middle of the battlefield and is just speaking, right? Sanjaya sees by sitting in palace with Dhritarashtra and relates the whole thing. Vyasa in his heart sees what is happening as spoken by Sanjaya. So he records.
Portion of Mahabharata.
Yes.
Vedvyas directly extracted Bhagavad Gita from Mahabharata to some extent.
I didn't understand.
Like Bhagavad Gita, we read it is a like separate book in Mahabharata.
Yeah, it is part of Mahabharata, yes.
This is the part of Mahabharata. So we extracted. Vedvyas did like
Oh, who extracted? Anybody? I mean, it's a dedicated chapter. So Bhagavad Gita is just taken as it's a chapter of Mahabharata, just taken out.
taken out.
Yeah. And the division is done by acharyas, like based on the verses and the content. They're divided into, okay, these verses, we'll call it as Purushottam Yoga, these verses as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Every chapter is titled Yoga because everything connects one to Krishna. Okay?
Like better picture of this with it.
Yeah, I'll try to send one. I'll share in the WhatsApp group.
Not only picture with like some
Explanation,
maybe like some text
text. Yeah.
to understand.
The
about-
text is there. We were not able to see it. The text is right here. It's not visible in this picture.
Yeah.
I'll send you a good one. Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll end the call. It's 1:45.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you.